use my jump in token. So I got modified, which cares about modify. Oh, I get to choose one. I forgot this. So I can either pick modify, illusions. I'm not sure about. That's probably one of the weaker fleshed out ones, or ne'er-do-wells, who I think are going to be a bunch of outlaws. Well, my quest did tell me that I needed to play green. So I guess I pick modified to get green. Oh. So we can either be modified of the coast, which is a starfish wizard. Modified enchanted, which enchanting a thing with an aura modifies it. So I think that's just the strongest option. Or illusions again. If this enchanted turns out to be auras, then this is a nice little combo where I modify creatures by enchanting them with auras, and then that makes them modified. So let's have a look. So it's now built, modified enchanted. And I can open the deck up and have a look at them. Yeah. So modified gives... So the way you modify a creature is by enchanting it with an aura, attaching an equipment to it, or putting a counter on it. These are all three things that modify your creature. And so the modified deck, which is our green section of this deck, focuses around Kodama of the West Tree, who's a good card. This might be something that I just turn into a brawl deck. It gives all my modified creatures trample, which means when they get blocked, if they have more power than the toughness of the thing blocking them, the rest of it goes through to the next thing. Either the next creature or the player's face. And whenever a modified creature deals combat damage to a player, search my library for a basic land, put that onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. So it helps me ramp into bigger spells, like these ones. So that's nice. But that generally gives you an idea that you want to put counters on things, you want to put auras on things, you want to put equipments on things. So it's given us a spell that puts counters on things, an equipment, a creature that enters and puts counter on itself or makes some saplings, so you'll probably always be putting a counter on itself. Kodama, which cares about modified, which is this is the Japanese alt-art version as well. This little snake samurai that enters and puts a counter on it if you control a modified creature, which hopefully at that point I will. An aura that also makes a fight spell, so it's a piece of removal while also modifying one of your creatures. I'm not sure why this is here, just a 2-drop creature to double power and toughness. I guess with the trample it helps make something huge. A little mana dork, who if it's modified, mana dork's better. Another way to give my creatures trample when they have a +1/+1 counter on, and it can kicker itself to get counters. A piece of protection with Snakeskin Veil, where you put a counter on a creature and it gains hexproof. And then another aura, that when it gets put into the graveyard, you draw a card, and gives trample. So that whole thing seems like there's some enchantments. There's a couple of enchantments in Audacity and Warbriar Blessing. And then mostly it's counters. But then we've got the enchanted section, which focused on Nykthos Paragon, which is whenever you gain life, you put that many +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, but you only do that once a turn. But it puts counters on things. So that then modifies all of my creatures whenever I gain life, which is very nice. Sunblade Samurai, which is an enchantment creature. It's a creature, it's a 4/4 with vigilance, which means when it attacks it doesn't tap, so it can then also block. But for 5, but it also has the channel ability that allows you to search for a basic planes, and it also gains you 2 life, which would then trigger the Nykthos Paragon. We also have this massive Shardless Outlander, who has basic land cycling, so helps you fix your mana. We have an aura, Sarah's Embrace, that gives flying and vigilance, so that modifies a creature. We've got Glory Bearers, who are an enchantment with whenever another creature attacks, it gets +0/+1, so it helps keep my creatures alive. We've got Banishing Light, which is a piece of removal, so it's an enchantment that exiles an opponent's permanent. Favoured of Aurus, who has Constellation to get double strike. So a nice little creature that cares about the enchantments I'll be playing. Golden Tail Disciple, who's a nice little enchantment creature. This legendary creature. Those nymph tokens look weird. Very cool, but weird. Sorry, Jeff Simpson. They are very cool art. But the shading, mask, the dual shadow on the face looks very interesting. But Samilla is a human bard, and whenever I cast the first enchantment, I make a 2/2 nymph enchantment. And at the beginning of each combat, so my combat and my opponent's combat, if I control 5 or more enchantments, this creature, who's a 3-drop 1/1, gets +4/+4 and lifelink. So it becomes a 5/5 with lifelink, which is pretty good. We've got the Nyx Fleece Ram, who just gains me some life, so that will also trigger the Nykthos Paragon. We've got Indomitable Will, which is an aura, so a nice modification. Flutterfox, who, as long as I control an artifact or an enchantment, gets flying. And Angelic Gift, which is another aura, so another modification that gives flying. So it looks like a lot of the modifications for the white part is to gain life, care about enchantments with Samilla, and the Favoured of Aurus, and then get flying, like Flutterfox and Angelic Gift and Sarah's Embrace. So the flying plus the trample should give me enough evasion to get through for damage. So this is likely going to be a fairly aggressive deck, dropping like a Flutterfox on turn 2 or an Orochi, and then just dropping a bunch of stuff onto them. Counters, auras, that sort of thing. So let's go. Let's play our 1/1 Jumpstart Foundations format. Yes, Brawl was standard rotation. So the standard Brawl is still standard rotation, but Brawl as a format now is 100 cards. That is closer to Commander. Okay, we're fighting Hellwig. So I've got the Thriving Heath. There is a full cycle of thriving lands that when they enter you pick a colour and they tap for their colour or the colour of the choice. They are all Jumpstart cards. They're all very useful for mana fixing, especially when most Jumpstart decks are going to be 2 colours. So yeah, I can make this white and green. Then I've got a second green and a second white. And an interesting ramp of playing the Orochi on 2, keeping up a Snakeskin Bale, trying to get to the kicker on Gnarlid, playing Defender. Should be fine. And we've got a lovely little Bloom Burrow area, a little field. I will drop that. I will pick green. So it now taps the white or green, and it's changed the colour of it to signify that, which is quite nice. I can drop a Flames. Oh, do I start with the Nyx Fleece Ram or the Orochi? Let's start with the Orochi. Get the ramp in when we can. Okay, they've got blue with a Kaladesh land and black with an Innistrad land. So I'm going to guess some kind of like Inventor Zombies or something like that. Inventor Nightmares. You've also got a Scarecrow sat in the middle of their field. Zombies. It's a zombie. We'll drop the Forest. And then drop the Nyx Fleece Ram, keeping this open for a Snakeskin Bale if we need to. Or I could drop an Aura Gnarlid, but then it won't get its counters, so I think I will keep it there. And I'm not going to attack, even though that's tapped. I'm just going to sit. And Hellwig is confused as to why I didn't attack for 1. But hopefully, it will make them think, it's a construct. It's looking good for the Inventor. Could you make a Brawl deck for the Nymph Commander? I could make a Brawl deck for that Nymph Commander. It wouldn't be able to be a standard Brawl deck, because they're not a standard card, as far as I'm aware. Because I think that's one of the cards that is Jumpstart specific, and therefore, like it mentioned at the start, at the top of the format, I am going to scry one, thank you. Ooh, I've got a 4th land, so I should be okay. I do want this in my game rather than on the bottom, so I'll put that on the top. I approve. Thank you very much. So, Eager Construct made each player scry 1, or each player may scry 1. So if you don't want to, you don't have to, which is why it allowed me to decline it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. I don't have to modify it yet. We'll play our Plains. We'll play this Oranalos, and we will kicker it because we have 5 mana. We also gained 1 life off my Nyxbleeze Ram. So no attack with the Ram. We now have a 6/6 with Trample, who is big and aggressive and nasty. That Timmy comes out in loving that this weird gnarled horned badger creature, part bear, part badger with horns, gets to stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. And also it has the ability that all my creatures with +1/+1 counts on have trample, so it gives itself trample, which is quite nice. Notably, I don't have any mana open, so if they now kill my 6/6, I can't defend it with the Snakeskin Veil. They're going to bounce it to my hand. I thought that might happen. But they now know I have it. And they know full well that I'm just going to play it again. I think they kicked it so that they drew another card as well. So we're both playing kicker spells, which is quite nice. Should be good. I'm going to block the 2/3 and take 2, unfortunately. But luckily my next Nyxbleeze Ram will give me another life, so I go back up to 20. Easy peasy. This one can't be blocked. When it enters, I make a wolf creature token and attach Wolf Rider's Hull to it. I mean, that's nice. Making a 3/3 wolf that can't be blocked by more than one creature would stop them attacking me, so I think I will go for that. Make wolf, give wolf the saddle, and leave a green open for the Snakeskin Veil. Leave a green open for the snake. I almost attacked with my Orochi, and that would not be leaving a green open for the Snakeskin Veil. Let's see what they do now. What are they gonna do? Spooky wolf. Are they confused by Spooky wolf? I should probably read Eternal Taskmaster. When it attacks, you may pay 3 if you return target creature card from the graveyard to your hand. Target creature gets -3/-3, target player mills 3 cards and you gain 3 life. But I planned for this. If I make my target hexproof, then they don't get to give it -3/-3, and now it's a 4/4. They still got to mill the 3 cards, which was an inventor. I might have been entirely right that it's zombie inventors. And they did gain the 3 life, so they are now winning again. But they definitely can't attack me now. So I gain another life. I will, I guess, just play this again with kicker. So now my wolf can only be blocked by 1 creature, right? Can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And it has trample. You get to be aggressive. I think if I get through to next turn, I'll play the Angelic. Oh, actually, I might play Defend the Celestus. To spread out 3 counters, put 1 on both of these. Just to modify this, mostly. Yep, so here we go. We've got trample. So because it's a 4/4, it assigns 2 damage to the 2 toughness of this construct and 2 damage to the player's health. Very nicely formatted. And my wolf gets to live. Until right now, where they're now going to kill my wolf. I'm ready for it. Go ahead. Kill the wolf. You've got black. You've got blue. Game froze a bit. What happened to my 6/6? Oh, it got bounced back to my hand. They used a blink of the eye with kicker to bounce it to my hand. But I've replayed it. We're all good. Again, apologies about the freezing. Everything looks fine on my side other than my kilobytes per second, which is through the roof because that's what it does, unfortunately. Give target creature plus X plus O and Menace. So now they've got a 4/3 with Menace, but I've got a 6/6 and a 0/5. But they're attacking anyway. And they don't have the mana open to reanimate a thing. So this just seemed like a weird choice of attack. I guess they might also be new to the game. Or they've got a combat trick. What's their trick going to be? I really hope they've got a combat trick, otherwise they've just thrown this creature into nothing. Show me the trick. So there's no trick. Now I feel bad. Not bad enough to stop playing, but I'm going to play this Niklas Ancient. And now every upkeep my creature's going to become huge and difficult. And I attack with my 2 trample creatures. The wolf can only be blocked by 1, and you've only got 1, so I guess you block 3 damage of this 10 trample. Yep, 3 goes to that, 3 goes to them, and 4 goes to them. So a total hit of 7. And it's only going to get worse. This was a good combination of Jumpstart packs, modified and enchanted. They both just play into the same archetype of modified, because enchanting things is modifying them. And then this nice little combo of the Nyxlis Ram and Niklas Paragon means at the beginning of my upkeep I will gain 1 life, and when I gain 1 life I put 1 +1/+1 counter on all my creatures. They put a stun counter on my creature. Grab. Grab. Stun counter. Very confused about why a creature... Oh, it can't be blocked. It's a 1/3 that can't be blocked. It's just some evasion. They needed to put some evasion in the blue deck. It wants to win the race. Have you got removal for the Paragon? I don't think you do. Otherwise you probably would have used it to save your Taskmaster. One timeout used. Have they realised their inevitable demise? Are they really, really thinking? Who knows? They might have lost connection as well. God knows I am. Luckily my connection on my end is fine. It's just the stream lag is excessive. There we go, game 1 life. I may put a 1/1 counter on all my creatures. I will. Which then gives them all trample because they're gnarled. Now that this is modified, it taps for 2 mana. So I can cast the Goldtail Disciple and then distribute 3 +1/+1 counters. So I'll do 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. And submit. And then I'll just attack with both of these, leaving up my 2/7 and my 3/4 to defend. Not that I can block this crowd anyway. They conceded. That's reasonable. This was a very one-sided match, unfortunately, because I got a good synergy. It's new players' luck. That's what it is. And then I get to claim my rewards for winning my 1-of-1 Jumpstart. I get 250 coins and 275 experience. And then I get Into the Floodmoor uncommon.